Hello BookTube, how are you doing? I'm doing rather great. I just started my 5 week long internship period at a hospital ward, and that's going really nicely. Learning lots of exciting new stuff, like inserting cannulas or nasogastric tubes. So I'm actually feeling like I'm learning something, not just wasting my time on theory and online learning sessions. So yeah, that's all good. And then something about my channel. I thought I going to do some kind of strategic re-evaluation. Like I noticed that my idea of posting one video every week, like one on every Wednesday, by doing that I was adding perhaps a bit too much unnecessary pressure and expectation on myself, to deliver regularly, which again that went against the idea of want to have a stress-free, casual environment for myself. So rather than posting one video every Wednesday, I think from now on I will just post a video whenever I feel like it. So yeah, I guess my apologies, and that's what you're going to get. And also, since one of my sort of, well, not goals, but a thought was to keep my channel small. So I guess yeah, I really want to do single book reviews more. So and I know those are very unpopular content, so that might also help me to keep my channel small, because no one gives a damn about single book reviews about books they haven't read. So you will see perhaps more of those in the future, or some dull poetry reading. Yeah, anyway, I guess the point is that I'm trying to make this booktube more casual and relaxed for me, as yeah, I guess I added too much unnecessary pressure on myself. Yeah, booktube is not work. It should be fun, right? Right, I have 4 books here. Right, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 4 books. 4 books that I could mention. I have finally finished the first part of my mammoth book. And yeah, for those who don't know, there was this event, March of the Mammoth, or Mammoths, which you read, a mammoth-sized book, which is 800 pages or more, and that started, in March. Yeah, and we we are in May now. I finished the first part of the book that I started, so I can move on to the second part next. So the book in question is Robert Musil's Mies, vailla, ominaisuuksia, Der Mann ohne Eigenschaften, the man without qualities. And yeah, I'm not going too much into detail about what this book is about, because I thought once I have actually finished the entire mammoth, I will make a proper single review for this one. So what I'm going to say instead is that so far I have really liked this book. Like, whenever I read it, I really like what I'm reading. It's good writing and lots of quotable lines and deep thoughts that sort of make me think. However, I'm never excited to pick this book up, and yeah, I wish this had more plot. I would say this could have benefited from a lot of editing. I think this is unnecessarily long. So yeah, I wouldn't say that I'm like this is a chore to read, or I'm finishing this because I feel like I have to finish this thing, because I am liking it, so it doesn't feel like a chore. However, yeah, as I'm not excited to pick this up, sometimes I question, do I really want to finish this? But yeah, anyway, still liking this. Lots of deep thoughts, good writing, quotable lines. And yeah, it's definitely a good idea to read that book in small chunks. Like I read somewhere between 10 to 30 pages each day, and that has really worked with me. And yeah, the other book I read is Fortune Smiles, collection of stories by Adam Johnson, and this features 6 different stories. Well, of course they are different, yeah. 6 stories, and I liked all of them. There was one story that wasn't as good as the others, but there were three, 4 excellent short stories in this one that, yeah, they are going to stay with me for a long time. And yeah, possibly one of the best story collections I've read in my life. And these are the kind of stories that you could easily see on, some schools, English class or literary class or whatever you have, depending where you live, because these stories, I guess, create more questions than they give answers. So these are excellent, sort of ground for discussion. So if you're ever going to have, if you're going to one of your book clubs or whatever, where you read a book and you want to discuss that with your group, I guess this would be an excellent choice for that. And yeah, I guess you could write lots of different essays about or story analysis from these stories. So yeah, very thought-provoking and ambiguous and yeah, intellectually stimulating stories in this one. I would highly recommend this one. Oh yeah, I guess I should mention something about some of the stories. Like, yeah, 2 of my favorites. One of them was set in some former prison that was turned into a museum, and then story involved one person who was a former worker in that prison, and one prisoner. and we get to see or hear. No, the story is told from the workers' point of view, but we get to hear, a prisoner's opinion as well about what happened in the prison. So we have these opposing perspectives, and we don't really know whom to believe. Like, was this prison as cruel as the prisoner says it was, or was it, as nice and relatively pleasant, according, to the ex-worker. So whose story should we believe? And then there was one story later in this collection had to do with, child pornography and child abuse. One person had suffered some kind of trauma in his childhood, and then later in his life he did stuff to help other people who faced similar or were in the facing similar threats. But there's also some questionable things, and we need to wonder, is he a good guy or a bad guy? Because there's evidence for both. He's very much on the good side, but we can't entirely call him a good guy. So that was quite fascinating, and definitely something you could discuss in your book clubs. Anyway, highly recommend it again. And then I read 2 books on my Kindle. First one of those is Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne. And again, yet another book that I really enjoyed. I guess I might make a proper single review for this book later. But anyway, that features this woman called Hester Prynne who has done something terrible and very sinful according to the religious Puritan community, and she has to wear this scarlet letter as a symbol so that everyone knows she committed something sinful. And basically in the story, Hawthorne is sort of portraying, this Puritan, religious hypocrisy, and also raising some questions like, why did we have to bring all this shit from England to this new world? Why couldn't we just leave this behind? There's this beautiful nature and wilderness, we could live there, happily free of all social conventions, and yet we bring this religious garbage in our midst and continue to have this witch hunt, so to say, and be very, very mean to each other. Of course, I was supposed to read you a sample of this book, but of course this decided to do some kind of uploading or downloading, whatever, right now. So yeah, the language in Scarlet Letter is, just gorgeous. And I would read you a sample or two if my Kindle wasn't messing with me right now. But yeah, if nothing else, read this book for the language and, just appreciate the things that Hawthorne does with English language. And then I was in the mood for something more light, so I decided to read a fantasy book. And recently I've seen some people reading Robin Hobb's Farseer books, so I thought I would try that one. You may have noticed that, for example, Kit at Kit's World has embarked on this massive journey to read the entire 16 books again. So that definitely played a part in my decision to read the Robin Hobb book myself. So yeah, I read the first book, Assassin's Apprentice. Was it? Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, read the first book in the first trilogy, and here we follow this royal bastard called Fitz, and he becomes some kind of an assassin, and we get to follow his growth from this young boy to a more to an older boy, and get to see how he gets tangled with political schemes and dangerous journeys, of course. And I like the writing. It's nothing spectacular to write home about. It does its purpose really well, and I guess Robin Hobb is pays just enough attention to detail to make the world seem very, very blanking. Yeah, good world building. I guess that's how you say it in fantasy circles. World building is excellent, and but yeah, it's not spectacular. But what Robin Hobb does really well, I think, is the way he created and fleshed out her characters. Like, there's so many good characters you can that have lots of depth. They are not those one-dimensional Dickens characters. And yeah, what else is there to say? Excellent characters. I'm looking forward to seeing where the story goes. And yeah, I think when I finish the trilogy, I might make a review of that one. I'm not sure if there's any point in making a review of every single book. We'll see how I feel about that. But yeah, it was really good to read some fantasy book. I was really needing something light and more entertaining. I just breezed through that first book. It was so enjoyable. So yeah, looking forward to the rest of the series. Yeah, I guess that's it. Yeah, that's it. And of course, if you've read any of these, or are you planning to read any of these, have you read anything else by this writers, authors, I would like to hear that. No, don't leave any comments to me, then that might make my job a little easier. Don't have to respond to anything. So, yeah, that's all for this time. Back to my bookie activities and see you soon.